everybody, and we're glad to have you with us on a beautiful Friday evening at Coors Field as we get set for baseball. Tonight, the Rockies open their interleague schedule as they welcome in the Detroit Tigers. Hello, everybody. Welcome inside Coors Field. I'm Tom Helmer alongside my partner George Frazier. Interleague play back once again, and that could be a good sign for the Rockies, who do very well in interleague play.
They've done really well at home, 28-8 since 2006. Look, I'm old-fashioned. I know a lot of people don't like interleague play. I love it. And I like seeing the new ball clubs coming into town. Jimmy Leland's in town with his Detroit Tigers leading the American League Central. Todd Helton's had great success. You just see a lot of people that you normally would never get to see during the course of the season. Cleveland Indians, New York Yankees, Kansas City Royals. You're going to see those players and those teams. To me, it's fun.
Since 2006, the Rockies are the best in the National League in interleague play. This year's going to be tough because of the teams you mentioned, the Tigers, the Indians, the Yankees. It's a tough road to hoe.
It is a tough road to hoe, and I think part of that is when you go to Cleveland and you go to New York, obviously you can use your DH. Their DH is a little more accustomed to doing it. Now, you have Jason Giambi, more than likely that will be the DH. He's been very successful. But I do think it's advantage Rockies when their pitcher has to hit. I don't care if Porcello's 3 for 9.
All right, well, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the starting pitchers in this ball game as the Rockies get set to tangle with the Detroit Tigers. Just making his way to the dugout as the Rockies get set to open a 3-game series against the Detroit Tigers and begin their interleague schedule. Welcome back inside Coors Field. Tom Helmer alongside George Frazier, and nobody's itching for a W more than Jason Hamill, who hasn't won a game since April.
Well, he's doing it at the right time. Interleague's one of his favorite times to pitch. He's pitched very well in interleague throughout his career, and I think for Hamill, if he gets a little bit of run support, it'd be a whole different story for Jason Hamill through this. Hopefully his back will hold up into the 6th, 7th inning with a lead and then turn it over to the bullpen.
Right now, let's bring in the third member of our broadcast team, Jeff Houston. And Jeff, they're facing a guy they're not very familiar with in Rick Porcello.
Yeah, the last time the Rockies saw him was back in 2009. He's a guy that has very good numbers, though, out on the road. 4-1 with a 2.27 ERA, which is second best in the American League. They are going to get a guy that's 6'5", about 200 pounds, that tries to work the ball down. He's a sinker ball pitcher. You think a guy 6'5", that he's going to throw gas at 95. He sits about at 89 to 90. He'll throw the fastball slider to a righty, fastball changeups to left-hander, occasional curveball. Be interesting to see how it plays out here at altitude tonight, Tom.
All right, thank you, Jeff. We're going to take one more break. When we come back, we're set for Rockies baseball. It's the Rockies and the Tigers next on Root Sports. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 50% or more on car insurance. The Ford Mustang, the all-legend, zero-compromise thrill machine Ford Mustang Drive One. The new Quest 5-year price lock promise. Visit quest.com/promise for details. And by Southwest Airlines' new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout dates. There you see Clear Creek Whitewater Park. Some whitewater rafting going on. That's a good time. We're about to have a good time here at Coors Field. Jason Hamill taking the field. He'll be on the hill for the Rockies as they open interleague play against the Tigers. Austin Jackson will be leading things off for Detroit. Talking to Jim Leland earlier, he said as you look at his lineup, he doesn't feel like he really has a number 2 hitter, so he just moved everybody else up. Take a look at the Southwest Airlines starting lineup. Brennan Bosch will be batting second, followed by Miguel Cabrera. Victor Martinez will actually be behind the plate for the Tigers. Magdio Ordonez out right. Avila, Peralta, Rayburn, and Porcello.
Well, take a look at Jason Hamill's overall numbers this year and what he has done in interleague play. So far, Jason Hamill in 13 starts, 3-6. Realistically, should be a little better now. If he got some run support, struck out 45 and 81 in 2/3 innings. It's 4-1 in interleague play in a Rockies uniform. 5-2 overall. He's 1-0 versus the Detroit Tigers.
The Rockies are 28-8 at home over the last 5 years in interleague play. Coors Field has been a tough place for teams to wander into. The Tigers are coming off a series victory over the Cleveland Indians. They beat them yesterday afternoon by a score of 6-2 to take sole possession of first in the AL Central.
I wonder what kind of letdown they'll have too coming into this series. I know this is a ballpark a lot of these players have not played in consistently over time. Jim Leland, when he managed here, didn't really like the ballpark. Leland, matter of fact, record at Coors Field 44-65 overall, 39-42 as the manager of the Rockies ball club in this park.
And there you see Jim Leland in his 6th year as the manager of the Tigers. Check swing by Jackson. Take a look at how the Rockies stack up defensively. You got Charlie Blackmon, who's been on fire since getting called up out in left field. Carlos Gonzalez in center, Smith in right. Wigginton, Tulowitzki, Nelson, and Helton around the infield, and Chris Iannetta behind the plate. This one right back up the middle, and that's a base hit for Jackson. That's a little more about the Detroit Tigers. As I said, they lead the AL Central by 1 game after taking 2 or 3 from the Cleveland Indians. Best in the American League in hitting on the road. They also strike out quite a bit. They've got 9 pitching shutouts. You can thank Justin Verlander for some of that action.
Great record in their last 19 ball games, 13-6. After they lost the first game of a doubleheader, they turned the corner and have really played well.
So this will be Brennan Bosch as he looks at a first pitch ball. Keep an eye on Jackson over at first base. He's stolen 11 bases so far this season, has only been caught stealing twice. Jackson came over to the Tigers in the trade that sent Curtis Granderson to the Yankees. Bosch hitting .393 in June. Looks at that one. Hamels behind him 2-0. See Brennan Bosch's career interleague numbers. Pretty good. 308, 6 home runs, driven in 18. This one fouled back, count 2-1. Tom Helmer and George Frazier with you. Let's bring Jeff Houston into the mix, who's camped out down by the first base line tonight.
Guys, I was a little worried before the ball game started about the rain. I know we had some down south before the ball game during batting practice, but it is absolutely perfect down here tonight. Field's in immaculate shape as always, but no, I don't think it's going to rain, so I'll let you know if I feel some drops later on. I'll make sure I get the umbrella.
No, you won't do that. You'll be standing with me and Tom Helmer in the booth.
Worried or complaining before the game? Is there a differential? There goes the runner, and Iannetta can't get a grip on the ball, and that's the 12th stolen base of the season for Jackson.
22%. That's the number that Chris Iannetta has thrown out on the year, so that will go down a little bit for Chris. That time couldn't get the feet out of his glove. Watch when he receives the baseball, a big jump, trying to hurry it up because you've got a lot of speed with Jackson. So on the ultra mo, breaking ball made it a little bit harder down into the dirt area, and harder to block and harder to grab the baseball.
So Jackson at second, the count 3-1 to Bosch. And he walks him. Well, you take a look at the staff that Jim Leland has. Tom Brookins, the first base coach, was a member of the 1984 World Championship team for the Tigers. You got some other guys with some managing and coaching experience in Gene Lamont and Lloyd McClendon. Tigers 7 games above 500 this season. Got off to a bit of a slow start, and combined with the way Cleveland started, there was a big gap in the standings there for a while, but the Tigers have turned it on as of late and erased that deficit.
9-game deficit. They've made all that up, and since I think May 15th, it's like 6.5 games they've made a jump and taken over first place. And a lot of that has been the ability for Cabrera with runners in scoring position. He's hit .441. First time he's hit third in the lineup this year in 69 ball games with the Tigers. Typically hits fourth.
As I mentioned at the top of the telecast, Jim Leyland feels like he doesn't have a true number 2 hitter. So as the Tigers play this series and the next one in Los Angeles against the Dodgers, he goes, I essentially just moved everybody up a spot. Going to put my pitcher in the 9-hole. He goes, I feel like Cabrera, even with nobody on, might be able to step into one, especially here at Coors Field, and put a run on the board.
Well, he ought to know. I mean, he's managed here. He's played, you know, watched teams play in this ballpark. Speaking of Jim Leyland. A couple of guys in Detroit uniforms you didn't want to see out here on the road, did you? Victor Martinez and Miguel Cabrera.
Runners at first and second, nobody out. Count 1-1 to Cabrera. Here's the pitch from Hamill. And inside, ball 2.
Hamill's 2 starts against Detroit, pitched 14 innings, 19 hits given up. He's yet to let a ball leave the yard. Probably jinxed him, didn't I, Hugh? 6 walks and 8 strikeouts.
Yeah, it isn't that Hamill hasn't pitched well. He's had a couple games where I think 3 of his last 4 games, 2 earned runs or lower, but he hasn't got the run support he's needed, or certain things haven't worked out. So he's pitched well enough to pick up the win. This one towards Helton at first. He'll flip it over Hamill for the out. Runners move up to second and third.
Well, you mentioned that. 0-5, 391 earned run average for Hamill in those starts, but yet he's only received 2.6 runs per start in run support.
Well, the Rockies did have to make a roster move. Jose Morales broke his right thumb on Wednesday. They have called up Matt Pagnazzi from AAA Colorado Springs. Morales took one right to the throwing hand, deflected off the bat. The thing for Morales, actually stayed in the ball game, picked up a couple hits. He toughed it out, but
threw out a base runner too.
Looks like they're going to intentionally walk Victor Martinez to load the bases, which would bring up Maglio Ordonez. Ordonez on deck. He's had a rough start to the season. Broke his ankle last season, was on the DL. Now, I was interested to see how they were going to work Victor Martinez and Alex Avila into the lineup, because they've been able to use Victor Martinez as a DH, but they put him behind the plate for this one and put Avila at third.
Well, it made it pretty easy for them to be able to figure that out. You mentioned Ordonez and his struggles. 3 for 30 this year with runners in scoring position.
You can also see the protective gear he wears on that left ankle. Tigers with the bases loaded, 1 out. Ordonez fouls back that first pitch. You see that gear he's wearing on his left leg. And you'll see a lot of batters with some sort of protection on their front leg, but this one seems a little more all-encompassing of the foot.
Well, it's catcher's shin guard is what it is. It's been cut and fitted for his foot after the fracture a year ago.
Won the count. Count 2-1. Jeff, how bad does it feel to foul a ball off your ankle? Have you ever done it? Oh, he's cut off right now. He's having some technical problems down there. We'll get him squared away. 2-1 the count.
Boy, good pitch inside half. Crammed his hands up against the body, and he couldn't get the bat head through, and once again failed him. Now 3 for 31 with runners in scoring position. And right now, I know it's frustrating to him, and it's frustrating to his ball club. And the pitch going to run to the inside half, not necessarily right where Inetta wanted it, but he got away with the pitch because of the velocity and the late movement on that fastball.
Inetta has a discussion with Hamill. Hamill with a chance to get out of this one as he faces Alex Avila. Avila's dad is actually the vice president and assistant general manager for the Tigers.
Job security, particularly when you hit 2-3-45 with 2 outs and the bases loaded, and he's part of that. That's what their ball club does. He's a guy that has produced numbers this year at a high rate. 9 home runs, 38 RBIs, hitting .300. He's earned the uniform.
Family may open the door, but it's your job to get through it and stay there.
That's right. You open the windows up, let some air through, and have some fun there and stay for the summer.
Said Avila's been the catcher, caught yesterday afternoon back in Detroit. They've been using Victor Martinez as the DH. See Bosch at second, Martinez at first. Bases loaded, 2 outs. The 1-0 pitch. It's 2-0. Well,
he's got big numbers out in the last 5 ball games. Really swung the bat well. 1 extra base hit, but he's driven in 5, and that's 7 for 15.
And Avila hitting .351 in interleague games.
He played 3 so far, 1 and 2 against the Pittsburgh Pirates.
A 2-0 pitch. And it's ball 3. And remember, in Hamill's last outing, he left the ball game with a stiff lower back. Says it's fine now, 100%.
I don't know that he'd be throwing 94 if it wasn't.
Right. He's hit 94 and 95 regularly here in the top half of the first inning. Here's the 3-0 pitch. And he catches it for a strike.
Alan Porter calling balls and strikes behind the plate. Fielding Culberth at first. It was a shot at that pitch. Went by quick first time. A little off, but got the call. Not throwing a strike to him yet it's 3-1. Take advantage here.
Here's the 3-1 pitch. He catches that one for a strike. So twice Avila thought they were balls. Twice they're called strikes.
And Jimmy Leland barking out of the dugout a little bit just because he's going to test the young umpire behind the plate.
Hamill will take it as he's worked the count back to full now after falling behind 3-0. Fouled back. Crowd here at Coors Field starting to make some noise.
Jim Leland's making a little noise too. He wants to get something out of this bases loaded opportunity. Jason Hamill has pitched well so far to prevent that.
Here's the payoff pitch. And he walked it. So Austin Jackson will trot home. And the Tigers have a 1-0 lead. And Bob Apodaca will make a trip to the hill to talk with his pitcher.
Well, more than anything, just kind of slow it down and just ask him. I mean, not one pitch was in the forward strike zone. How's your back? Because what happens when a back tightens up, it's when it starts to exercise. And then as it exercises and get that muscle going, all of a sudden it starts to tighten up. You can see 28 pitches in the game, 16 of those for balls so far. And that's not Hamill. Hamill's a guy that throws strikes. Right now they've staked the Tigers with Jackson's leadoff single and then the walks playing into the ball game. All of a sudden they're leading it 1-0.
Hamels issued 3 walks in this inning, one of them intentional. The Tigers only have 1 hit. That was the leadoff single by Austin Jackson. Now you got to deal with Johnny Peralta. And Peralta and Rayburn's on deck. These are 2 guys that can provide some pop at the bottom of the lineup. They hit back-to-back homers yesterday to open up the game against Cleveland and break out to a 4-2 lead. And that pitch, a ball from Hamel. Hamel's thrown 29 pitches here in the top half of the first inning.
Well, the best part about all of it is still just 1-0.
Yeah. He pops this one up. Tulowitzki will get underneath it and put it away. So Hamel able to get out of it without too much damage, but the Tigers lead it 1-0. One across in the top of the first and lead at 1-0 as we start the bottom of the first. Carlos Gonzalez will lead things off for the Rockies, batting .277 this season. Take a look at the rest of the Rockies lineup, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Chris Nelson will be batting second, followed by Helton, Tulowitzki, and Smith. Ty Wigginton over at third. Charlie Blackmon, who's been on a tear since getting called up from AAA Colorado Springs, is batting .343. Chris Iannett will be behind the plate, and then you have Jason Hamel.
Well, Mr. Porcello's been pretty good, folks, particularly of late. He has pitched very well, and out on the road loves it. 4-1, 227 earned run average out on the road in his career. He's 5-1, 230 earned run average in interleague play. Prepster came out as a #1 draft pick of the Detroit Tigers the same year Madison Bumgarner came out with the San Francisco Giants. Porcello out of Seton Hall Prep. He went to high school. I think he was 24th pick coming out of high school. Hard throwing right-hander. As the innings have mounted on the youngster, the velocity has gone down somewhat. In high school, he was 96, 98. He is a hard sinker ball pitcher, 88 to 92 miles an hour. Slider, changeup. He will show a curveball, but very rarely.
He's young. He's just 22 years old. Gonzalez pops this one up. Martinez underneath it and puts it away for the first out. Take a look at how the Tigers stack up defensively. In the outfield, you have Bosch, Jackson, and Ordonez. Around the infield, you have Avila playing third base, so they can get him into the lineup. Peralta at short, Rayburn at second, Miguel Cabrera at first, Victor Martinez behind the plate, and of course, Rick Porcello on the mound.
Not correct. Porcello was drafted 27th pick in the first round. 24th, 27th. First round is all pretty good, right?
It's all good.
Well, last year he struggled. First half he was horrible. 4-7, 614 earned run average. Spent time in the minor leagues to get squared away. Came back after the All-Star break and finished 6-5 in the second half with a 4.00 ERA. Pitched pretty well, covering 14 starts for the Tigers.
The count 1-1 to Chris Nelson. Nelson has played in 14 games. He's batting .318. Jim Tracy say, you know, they've had to make a lot of call-ups. The team has gotten younger with those call-ups, but he said he's excited about the players he has moving forward.
Well, you know, everything gets written about your minor league system being one of the best in baseball. It's getting tested this year to see how good it is at this level, the ultimate level, Major League.
Well, Who Wants Tacos fans, remember, if the Rockies score 7 or more runs during any game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6 p.m. and get your Rockies Taco Special. Feed your Rockies fever only at Taco Bell. This crowd wants tacos. They'd love to see it. Todd Helton stepping in with 2 outs here in the first inning. Swings at the first pitch. This one to deep center field. Back towards the wall and caught by Jackson. So it's a 1-2-3 inning. We go to the top of the second. Tigers up 1-0.
You see Jason Hamill behind me. Jason Hamill making his 74th career start as a Rocky. I asked him today before the game if he remembers his first win ever as a Rocky. He thought about it, put 2 and 2 together, and he said, was that at Comerica Park? And we're looking at him on May 24th of 2009 when he beat the Tigers, a 3-1 final. Yurva Torrealba was his catcher. Told me today he doesn't have that baseball, but he's gone 23 and 23 as a Rocky, and as I said, guys, making his 74th career start in a Colorado uniform. Guys?
All right, thank you, Mark. Ryan Rayburn at the plate. He's had a tough month. He's hitting 156 over his last 30 games, and he has struck out 56 times in his last 47 games.
I think Jim Leyland's a little old school, though. He likes a guy that can catch the ball up the middle. We'll get the hitting down second. If he can turn the double play, catch it, make the plays for me, I'd be happy as he can be.
He strikes him out. Caught him looking. First down of the inning. That'll bring up the pitcher, Rick Porcello. Jim Leyland, of course, managed here back in 1999. Only manager in Rockies history to have a losing home record. He was 39 and 42. Now he has taken the Pirates, the Marlins, and the Tigers to the postseason. Took the Tigers to the World Series in 2006, where they lost to the Cardinals.
And also winning as the manager of the Florida Marlins. All those years with that great Pittsburgh teams where he had been to the playoffs, just couldn't get to the promised land, and then at the World Series.
Porcello fouls one off the face of the third deck. He's got a hit this year in that Pittsburgh series. He's 1 for 3.
3 for 9 in his career.
It's a 1-1 pitch. This one grounded towards Tulowitzki. And put him away for the second out of the inning. Well, Jim Leland, here's what he had to say about interleague play. He says, it has worn off for me. It was a brilliant idea to start with, but it has run its course. And Leland said, you know, he expected to get a call from the commissioner's office as he's on the commissioner's committee.
Well, I can see part of his manager's, you know, maybe complaint, because sometimes teams have to go play very difficult teams to travel from the East Coast to the West Coast to make those interleague play. You know, the teams like the Rockies that have to go out and play Detroit, they got to play Cleveland, New York. Maybe they'd rather take on some teams out of the Central that weren't quite as strong and try to take advantage of those things, because quite honestly, it takes away, what is it, 15 games in interleague that you play? How many is it, Doug? 15 in interleague total?
15 to
18 different games in interleague that, you know, go away from your schedule of making up distance within your division, maybe playing against your teams in the American League.
Jackson with the ground into Tulowitzki. And they get him. So 1-2-3 inning for Hamill. We go to the bottom of the second. 1-0 Tigers. E470. Find E470 on Facebook for details on how to win free tolls. The Tigers in for a 3-game series, and then the Rockies will hit the road for 3 against Cleveland in Cleveland. And they head to the Bronx to take on the Yankees in a 3-game series. Troy Tulowitzki leading things off for the Rockies here in the bottom half of the second inning. Looks at a first pitch ball. After the Yankees, the Rockies will stop at Wrigley Field for 1 game against the Cubs. It's a makeup game, and then they'll come home to play the White Sox and the Kansas City Royals. Tulowitzki pulls one to left field. This one back towards the track, and this one is caught by Bosch.
I'm not sure Bosch knew where he was on the field here. He looked like he was kind of bouncing around out there a little bit.
Well, he was, and that ball wasn't hit right on the barrel. It got in just a little bit onto Troy with the little late sink on it, but still strong enough to drive it to Bosch. And here's your point right here, George. He's like, where am I? Oh, yeah, okay, I'm on the warning track. But he still has about 8 to 10 feet before he'd hit the wall.
Yeah, he had a little space back there behind him. He was kind of looking around. Of course, he's playing awfully deep. I think Jim Leland's got them all playing deep, so he get back on the baseball and try to prevent the extra base hits here in this park.
There's Seth Smith, who's hitting .353 on this homestand with a homer and 6 RBI. He's also scored 5 runs.
Well, everybody's picking up the pace this entire homestand. Tulowitzki just made the out, was hitting .424 during this homestand. Big numbers with a lot of great results. 2 home runs, 12 RBIs.
Well, George, and you mentioned Tulowitzki not just getting hits, but at key points in the game to drive in runs. And Seth Smith with a single to right field. That's the first Rockies hit of the evening. Windshield damage? Call Safelight Auto Glass at 303-287-5000 or go to safelight.com. So with 1 out and 1 on, Ty Wigginton will step to the plate. Wigginton, a guy with real good interleague numbers.
Well, that's not surprising for me because he's been able to, being in the American League a lot more, playing the games every day over there, and also DHing. He was in the National League a little bit. I like what he's put up lately. He's really swung the bat well. I know some people upset with the errors he made during the Dodgers series, but then he turns right around and makes about 4 great plays in the Padres series.
Well, he's hitting .271 with 13 homers in interleague play.
Been talking to him today. It said, what's the difference for you in interleague? He said, I kind of treat it like 3 or 4 pinch hit appearances. I'm going to look for a fastball and hit the first one I see.
Carlos Gonzalez is another guy that's played well in interleague play. Todd Helton, of course, hitting over 300 with 23 home runs. Charlie Blackmon, who's on deck, will get his first taste of interleague play.
Wiggins is one of those guys too, where he is hitting the lineup. Just watching the fastball velocity for me, just to see how overpowering it can be. You can see a count of 3-1, and it should be you're out. All 3 pitches inside the Ford strike zone, not yet to be called strikes. The only one that was called a strike was the one Ty swung at.
There's a 3-1 pitch. Smith on the move. There'll be no throw to second base as they walk Wigginton, and there's runners at first and second.
Well, somebody that has solidified themselves in the Rockies lineup, the youngster Charlie Blackmon, and what he has accomplished both against left-handers and right-handers. 7 for 12, couple of runs. He stole 3 bases, knocked in 3 runs, and this is hitting down in the order. Been a shot in the arm for this ball club since putting on a Rockies uniform and being called up in San Diego.
Well, since June 7th, if you compare him with other major league rookies, he's right up there batting .343. Weeks, who plays over in Oakland, batting .344. D. Gordon, who we saw come through with the Dodgers, batting .333. So he's second on that list of rookies in a very short period of time. I told him today in the clubhouse, you're really setting the bar high out of the gate here. You may want to ease into it a little bit. You're really going to raise expectations.
I tell you, he's living a dream right now. This kid has carried himself very well in the locker room, also out on the field.
The 0-1 pitch. This one down the left field line. Bosch getting chased. It's going to be a foul ball and bounce into the seats. Would have scored Smith for sure, and possibly Wigginton, but they'll have to go back to first and second base. And the count now 0-2 on Blackmon. Look at that, 4 for 12 with runners in scoring position.
We'll see here, George, if we get one of those change-ups that Porcello's famous for throwing to left-handers.
He usually does, and he doesn't throw it often. I mean, he'll throw a curveball in the dirt. Change-up's about 10%. What he really likes to get is to get guys to roll over the fastballs. He ran that one inside the hands. But he's one of those guys that wants it to roll over and shorten up innings as quick as he can. He got after that fastball a little bit, ran it at 92.
The 1-2 pitch. This is ball 2.
You know, Jeff, we've seen Charlie since coming up here, and I watched him in spring training, watched him in Tulsa a lot last year. he would get into 0-2, 1-2 counts, and he works them back to hitters counts as good as a lot of young hitters I've seen.
Well, he does, and it was interesting you say that, because talking to Carney Lansford during spring training, we were talking about that exact thing with Charlie Blackmon. His two-strike approach is advanced for his years that he's been playing in pro ball. And a guy that had to move from the aluminum to the wood to be able to handle that is really a testament to Charlie's hard work.
I think part of that, playing for Rusty Greer really helped prepare for his junior year at Georgia Tech, where he really played well.
In the left field, this one a hit. Smith rounding third, and they'll hold him up. So a single for Blackmon. The Rockies now have the bases loaded for Chris Iannetta.
That was a short swing with 2 strikes.
Looking at the location of this pitch, too, tells you a little bit of a fastball that ran inside. Then Charlie just dropped a hammer on it and let this ball drive. Now, you know, Charlie takes a big swing. If you watch that swing of Charlie's there, you would think he'd gotten out front and pulled the baseball. Not to try to compare him to George Brett, but he reminds me a lot of Brett. Wherever the ball's pitched, I'm going to have the same swing. I won't have the same result. Iannetta's only had 4 opportunities with the bases loaded this year. He's 2 for 4.
And he's got great numbers against the Tigers in his career.
And the Rockies, that's one area that has been a struggle for the Rockies. 236 overall for the team. But with less than 2 outs, it's 385.
Well, the Tigers had their chance in the first inning with the bases loaded. Hamill walked in a run. The Tigers couldn't get any more. Now it's the chance for the Rockies to respond in a big way. This one fouled down the right field line. This one will make the seats. There you see Smith at third. You got Ty Wigginton at second. And Charlie Blackmon at first. 2 singles and a walk have loaded it up for Colorado. Chris Iannetta would like to unload him.
Well, Wigginton's got better speed out at second base than people give him credit for. So ball left or right, he's going to have a chance to score.
On a strike, count 1-2.
Strike zone's a little all over the place right now, George.
Yeah, a little tough to think about right now. Maybe the youngster trying to settle in back behind the plate. Alan Porter, there's the home plate umpire. Of course, you got Jim Leland barking at you in the first inning. I've got more wins than pitches you've seen in the big league, son. You better get a better strike zone.
Concerned Jim Leland looking on. Rockies have the bases loaded with 1 out. The count 1-2 to Iannetta. The pitch from Porcello. This one back up the middle. A shallow hit. Jackson coming in, and he won't get there. Base hit. Smith scores. Wigginton will hold up at third. We got a tie ball game, and the Rockies still have the bases loaded.
I pointed out some things about Chris Iannetta the other day. Where he is at RBIs, he leads the National League among 8-hole hitters with RBIs with 28. He also has the league lead in home runs, or tied, I should say, with catchers in the National League. So even though his average is down, his production is near the top of all catchers and 8-hole hitters in baseball.
That brings up the pitcher, Jason Hamill. To the first pitch ball. Hamill can hit. Homered earlier in the season in Milwaukee. Looks at that one for a strike. Carlos Gonzalez waiting on deck.
This is a place where you don't want Jason to take a swing and hit into a double play.
Right.
You're like, okay, you could strike out or maybe hit a weak fly ball, but give Carlos a chance with the bases loaded if you're not going to do anything.
This ball too, yeah. Double play, definitely the worst case scenario here. Count 3-2 to Hamill. So Porcello in danger of walking in a run. And he walked it. So Hamill doesn't have to take the bat off his shoulder, and he pushes in Ty Wigginton, and the Rockies have a 2-1 lead.
Yeah, Jimmy Leland's going to make this trip out to the mound. Not his pitching coach, and that's a little unusual because Rick Knapp's his pitching coach. Jim Leland probably not going to like this conversation he's getting ready to have with his young starting pitcher.
We've had 3 runs scored in this ball game. 2 of them have been on bases loaded walks.
That's the old one-way conversation, George.
Well, you know what? He probably walked out there. Knowing him, he walked out there and he said, you know what? I don't care if he hits it all the way out of the ballpark, but you better start throwing strikes. No nonsense type of manager. One thing that drives him absolutely batty is walks.
You talk about guys hitting it out of the park. Here's a guy that can do it, Carlos Gonzalez.
Well, he's 2 for 6 this year with the bases loaded. Interesting note, Porcello, they've only hit 197 against him with runners in scoring position this year.
And the good thing for Carlos too, what happens after a pitching coach or manager comes out? Typically it's a fastball.
They're going in with it too, and it's a slider.
Oh, that's a rarity, George.
Yeah, typically get a head fastball, but then he's probably thinking, you know what, it's Carlos and kind of free swinger. Their scouting report's going to say he can chase out of the zone at times.
Gonzalez with a fly ball to right field. Ordonez underneath. Blackman tags up, and he will score, and the Rockies have a 3-1 lead. So with runners at first and third, Chris Nelson will step to the plate.
Well, taking advantage of the mistakes. Base hit, walk, base hit. That is not a big base hit, and a walk to the pitcher. You put yourself in a spot to get a game blown open on you, and they've done just that. On 3 hits, 3 runs scored by the Rockies.
And don't forget, Troy's ball was hit pretty well to start this inning.
Nelson looks at a first pitch for a ball. He's batting .409 over his last 6 games.
Yeah, I wonder too, Jeff. I mean, I know for me there was difference coming out of the bullpen sometimes when you're used to pitching to one guy. But Vila had been the starting catcher, and Victor Martinez had been the DH. And all of a sudden, Victor's catching Porcello in the ballgame.
Yeah, Alex had caught 52 games, and this is his first game over at third base, but they had to try to get Victor's bat into the lineup. He has caught before, but you know, George, it's a different sequence of signs and that comfort level.
That's the point I was making, was the fact that, you know, Victor's back there and he's working a ball game when he hadn't caught a starting pitcher very much, and what he likes to work, where he likes to work. Is there any indecision on my catcher behind the plate?
Well, I also noticed too, I was looking into the dugout, he's peeking over there quite a bit to Leland. He didn't do it this time, but just, okay, where do you want the pitch? Do you want it in or out? Those type of things.
He wanted a fastball and he wanted it aired out. You saw him kind of give that flip of the hand and let it fly. Gene Lamont has been with Jim Leland for a very long time, through the White Sox organization and up through the Pittsburgh organization before becoming the manager in Pittsburgh when Leland left.
Turns on this one down the left field line, and this one is going to be gone. It's a home run for Chris Nelson, a 3-run shot, and the Rockies lead it 6-1.
His first home run of this season, I should say. Second home run of his career. The 3-run shot here for Chris Nelson. That's going to end up being one of those American League starts for Rick Porcello. And Buddy, you'd have to wear it, eat it, and just wear the bullpen for a while, save us, and give us some innings.
That was a beautiful swing as far as pulling your hands in.
And I've got to correct myself. And Doug had given me some information. Second career home run, Jeff, and it was his first career home run at the major league level for Chris Nelson.
You'll always remember that one.
Todd Helton steps right up with a single. So the Rockies have batted around here in the second inning, and now Tulowitzki will step to the plate. You see Gene Lamont on the phone.
Let's take a look at Todd Helton's base hit. He scalded the ball to center field earlier. This time just takes the sinker to the opposite field.
That sinker's not sinking much. Even that ball Chris Iannetta floated out to center field, it jammed him, but it stayed on the same plane.
That Tulowitzki drove one to deep left in his first at bat of the inning. This one towards left center. Bosch coming on, and he'll make the catch. And that will end the inning, but not before the Rockies put 6 on the board. They lead it 6-1 as we head to the top of the third.
Back at Coors Field, 6-1 Rockies over the Tigers. Top 3. When you think of Detroit, you think of Albert William Kaline. 22 seasons only as a Tiger, 18-time All-Star, 10 Gold Gloves, 399 career home runs. He hit 297. Of course, his jersey was retired. And you know when they signed him? June 19th of 1953. And then, guys, a couple of years later, as a 20-year-old, he hit 340 in 1955, won the batting title.
Yeah, and Mark, he's the only guy who never played for the Rockies whose picture hangs in the Rockies clubhouse. Clint Hurdle had asked to have it put up when he was manager here, and it hangs near the entryway to one of the sides of the clubhouse, and the team never took it down. So Al Kaline and his number 6 actually hanging near the hallway in the Rockies clubhouse.
That was one of my first gloves that I had, was signed by Al Kaline right in the palm.
Well, it was stamped.
Well, yeah, not actual sign. You're right, George. Okay, but it was stamped with Al Kaline's name.
Exactly.
This is Brennan Bosch, who walked in the first. Hard grounder to Wigington, and he's out. Time for the XL Energy High Efficiency Inning, brought to you by XL Energy. Learn about energy efficiency and how to save energy and money in your home by visiting responsiblebynature.com. It was a 1-2-3 inning for Hamill in the second. He struck out Rayburn, got Rick Porcello to ground out, and then got Austin Jackson to ground out to short as well. Miguel Cabrera has faced the Rockies in 33 games, batting .397 against them with 7 homers and 25 runs driven in. Hamill's behind him, 2-0. Cabrera grounded out to Helton in the first inning. Fouls that one back.
Just watching his reaction on the 1-0 fastball that was buzzed in, not intentionally, but he wanted to come in hard on the hands. He's a guy with a long swing. He generates a lot of power, and you try to prevent the extension of those arms like that.
There's one to left field, and this one is off the wall. Cabrera will have a very long single.
Yeah, well, you know what? He stood at home plate and watched it. That was the problem. Off of the bat, he thought that ball was out of the yard. Charlie Blackmon played it off the fence. And watch when he hits this baseball. If we hold it there long enough, he's thinking, I've got a home run. He's watching the flight, and by the time he hit it so hard, by the time that ball got out against that screen and Charlie got a hold of it, he was stuck at first base.
He wasn't even around first by the time Charlie picked that ball up.
Yeah, you know, Jim Leland, one of those guys that will handle it in the right way.
Here's Victor Martinez, who was intentionally walked back in the first. Swings at the first pitch, grounds it to Helton, and he'll just wait and put the tag on Martinez for the second out of the inning. So Cabrera at second base. That'll bring up Maglio Ordonez. Ordonez looks at a first pitch strike. Somebody brought their tiger head to the ball game. How about that? That's actually a little scary.
There's actually some
notice the seat next to her is empty.
Yeah, nobody wants to sit next to her.
No.
There is some Tiger fans.
Oh,
here
it lights
in the
up. The eyes light up. That's pretty handy.
Did they really?
Yeah, they were. See if she
again.
flips the switch there on, and then I think they also go off. There they go. They're off.
Tom, I think you're seeing things.
I think the eyes go on and off.
Does it growl too? I know you have one of those.
I don't have one.
You don't?
No.
Well, you were telling me before the game your mother said pick whatever you want for your birthday.
Yes.
She was all in and buying it.
I don't think Tiger
Head
wasn't on the list.
Perfect. It's perfect.
I don't know. I mean, I could go with a new iPhone. I could go somewhere. I don't know if stuffed Tiger Head.
But I like the light.
See the lights too. They go on and off.
Yes.
See, that's Eye of the Tiger. When they go off, it's just dormant Tiger.
Well, right now that Tiger's wanting him to go off because he's losing 6-1.
They're down by 5. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Checked his swing but didn't go around. Count will be 2-2.
We have a camera that tells everything, and he did not go.
Everybody down here in the dugouts into the game because there's about 7 or 8 guys just pointing down the field. And did he go?
Well, the answer no, so the count even. It's the pitch from Hamill. And it's 3-2 to Ordonez.
See, I'm thinking every umpire probably gets an iPad, and they can just look at the replay on the iPad and say, it didn't go. Okay.
Is that going to be something you would institute if you were like on the panel?
No, I don't think so.
Portable iPads for everybody?
Commissioner for a day?
No.
Jeff, he'd rather just commission from up here, give his input.
It's a lot easier that way.
Exactly.
You don't have to take all the phone calls in.
Well, you don't have to anyway because you get a secretary. That takes those for you when you're the commissioner.
There's see Miguel Cabrera at second base. The 3-2 pitch. This one back up the middle. This one will be a base hit. They're waving Cabrera around. The throw to the plate. Iannetta puts the tag on. They got him. Great throw by Carlos Gonzalez as they get Cabrera at the plate. We move along to the bottom of the third. Rockies lead it 6-1. Maglio Ordonez had hit a single, then Carlos Gonzalez guns down Miguel Cabrera at the plate for his 6th outfield assist of the season.
Yeah, Cabrera came up thinking he was safe. Thought he tagged him high. I didn't think so. Throw beat him. Nice reception of the baseball by Chris Iannetta. And then a tag applied. And I tell you what, everybody said, watch out. Don't put him in center. He might get hurt. He might do this. Well, let me tell you what, I like him in center. He covers a lot of ground, and that arm prevents a lot of movement on the base paths.
Here's Seth Smith. He fouls one off. Cabrera was trying the Jedi mind trick where he just, I'm safe. See if he could just fool the umpire into, yes, you're safe.
My question is, why send him? Don't you read the scouting reports? You're down 6-1. Good for the Rockies, but he's got one of the best arms in the game.
Cabrera's still trying to catch his breath.
Falling back over the Tigers dugout. Count remains 0-2. That Cabrera just had a 360-foot single. Seth Smith singled and scored on a Chris Iannetta single in the second inning. The Rockies sent 10 batters to the plate in the second. Smith down the right field line. That one's a fair ball. He's going to dig for second base. He's looking at third. Smith's going to go for it. The relay throw will not make it, and Smith has himself a leadoff triple.
You know, I'll tell you something right now that maybe Jeff, you would or would not agree with me, but for a team like Detroit that's in first place, they're making a lot of mistakes early in this ball game.
Well, the first one is Maglio with his wheels out, or lack thereof, out in right field, has a little bit difficult time. But then this is relay 101. You're not supposed to jump for the baseball if you're the lead guy, because you have a trail guy. It will go right into his glove. He can make the throw. So Rayburn should not have jumped up because the ball goes off his glove. Now you have a guy at third base. Who knows what would have happened? But now you have to play the infield in.
Well, one thing, you'll never know what will happen.
That's right.
What would have happened if everything done cleanly.
But don't jump up for the ball. They teach you that in high school.
Well, Jim Leyland not happy with what he's seen, so he's not, you know what, going to prevention mode now. And
so a grounder past third. That's going to score Seth Smith. And Wigginton's on first. It's a 7-1 ball game for the Rockies, and they're going to get tacos for everybody. There go the taco T-shirts. And it didn't take them long.
Man, I got those shirts. I'm telling you, you want tacos? Absolutely. And you want on TV, or you wouldn't be shaking it like that.
That's right. Go tomorrow between 4 and 6 to your participating Taco Bell and get your Rockies taco special. That'll bring up Charlie Blackmon, who singled and scored back in the second inning. He lays down the bunt. This one's going to stay fair. They're going to keep letting it roll, but that one's going to stay on the right side of the line, and Blackmon has himself a bunt single.
Hey guys, you got to give credit on that one, not only Charlie Blackmon, but to Tom Reynolds. Tommy talked to Charlie today with Avila making his first start at third base, said the bunt is going to be in play today. He told him around the batting cage, so a big thumbs up to Tommy Reynolds.
Now watch Wigginton's hit here. This thing is just smoked right at it between the legs of Avila, who has not played a lot of third base. And then hey, you got one here ricocheted right at you. Now you're getting a bunt down the line. And Rick Porcello saying, why did I land here for my first start at Coors Field?
Adam Wilk up in the bullpen for the Tigers.
They have 4 left-handers in their bullpen. A little unusual.
Well, on the ball put in play by Wigginton, they have called an error on Avila. So that'll be an E5 if you're scoring at home. The Rockies have scored 7 runs on 7 hits. Nobody out here in the third inning. They have Ty Wigginton at second, Charlie Blackmon at first. Iannetta looking to add to that Rockies lead. He pops this one up. This one over towards the Rockies dugout. Martinez underneath it and puts it away for the first down of the inning. Well, that'll bring up Jason Hamill, who back in the second inning didn't even need to take the bat off his shoulder, drew a bases loaded walk, and then later scored on Chris Nelson's 3-run homer.
Jim Leland's just talking to Avila right now, telling him where to play. Now you got a young kid on the mound. It's a pretty good athlete. A runner at second, it's an average runner in Wigginton. So this is where you've got to watch with Wigginton out at second to place the bunt perfectly and then force a perfect throw. Cabrera's got a decent arm. He's played third base, played in the outfield. His arm's not bad. So if he feels the baseball, you're just going to have to see how it all gets set up for them defensively.
But this is where it's advantage National League with Jason Hamill leading the ball club who has 7 sacrifice bunts. He's been in this situation much more than any of the American League guys.
Well, and a lot of times you don't see this in the American League. Yeah, defensively, you don't have to defense the bunt in a sacrifice situation very often.
Yeah, you work on it back in February, maybe again in March, and then that's it.
1-0 pitch. Hamill gets it down. Porcello is going to throw towards first base. Hamill's out. But Wigginton and Blackmon each move up 90 feet.
I know Nelson hit the home run, but I'd be really surprised. They may be pitch around and not allow anything good to hit here with Gonzalez up, or they may, it looks like they're going to pitch to him.
Jim Leland just got to be shaking his head on what's going on here in the first 3 innings. The Rockies have been all over the Tigers offensively. Gonzalez to right field, deep right field. That one off the wall. 2 runs will score. Gonzalez holds up at second base. He's got himself a double, and the Rockies lead it 9-1.
Yeah, that's why you walked him. I mean, yeah, I know you have Chris Nelson hit a 3-run home run in the second inning, but I mean, as far as a proven guy that can leave the yard a lot, that's Gonzalez. I mean, left against right hand. I had a great feeling for the Rockies fans, and it wasn't that it was that bad a hit. You just got a really good hitter at the plate. Porcello threw the breaking ball down and away from him. And then Ordonez does his best to try to get up, just misses the baseball, and ricocheted off that padding, and he was off to the races.
Gonzalez has now driven in 40 runs this season. Make that 41.
Well, that 1-2 punch of Tulowitzki and Gonzalez, you thought would be the 3-4 hole. Now all of a sudden it's a 1-4 hole.
Time for the Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. Chris Nelson, his first major league homer down the left field line. Put it down the tunnel, drove in 3 runs, part of a 6-run inning for Colorado. This one back up the middle. Rayburn over to first. And the inning is over, but not before the Rockies put another 3 on the board. They lead at 9-1 headed to the 4th. The Rockies put 6 on the board in the second and 3 in the third, lead at 9-1. Let's go down to Mark Stout with today's Fast Cash Sideline Report, brought to you by Fast Cash Gold Centers, where you'll always get 40% more for your gold. Mark.
All right, Tom, George, Huey, you go back to 1993 when the Rockies started. Since that time, there have been 41 players that have worn a Rockies uniform and a Tigers uniform. Some you know, Brian Bohannon, Nathan Perez, Ben Petrick. Some you don't, Craig Dingman, not as well. But the last 2 that played for the Tigers and the Rockies are relief pitchers, Jason Grilli and Juan Rincon. Grilli, by the way, is with the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs, the AAA team of the Philadelphia Phillies, back from injury, and he is on the 40-man roster now, the active roster, and Juan Rincon pitching independent baseball for the Bridgeport Bluefish in Connecticut. A little update on some Rockies of old, guys.
Well, you know, Mark, one other guy that had a pretty successful career after leaving the Rockies was saving ball games for the Detroit Tigers.
He was no fun to hit against.
They had about 9 pitches.
I'm still digging the nickname Iron Pigs. I think that's one of the better
nicknames. You love Iron Pigs?
Yeah, it's a great nickname. There's Johnny Peralta. Popped up to Tulowitzki in his first at bat. Tigers scored a run in the first on a bases loaded walk, had a chance to do some more damage. Hamill got out of it, and since then it has been all Rockies. They've scored 9 runs on 8 hits in the first 3 innings of this ball game.
Well, that stretch of Hamill going 0-5, the Rockies did not. It was a nice play by Tulowitzki, the jump and snap down.
They haven't seen that in the American League.
Nope, they have now.
Here's the backhand by Tulowitzki, and then the jump and throw over. Right on the money, as you've grown so used to watching from Tulowitzki.
You can tell someone that hasn't watched him much, if at all, that he's good, but till you see what Troy Tulowitzki can do, he's something special.
Well, he is, and fortunate being down here on field level to watch those throws. The one just on that backhand jump throw, right on the money, not a big high arc on it, just routine ground balls. You get a new appreciation even down here from a guy that's played just how special Troy is.
Jeff, the amazing thing is how accurate he is throwing, going backwards, throwing on his front foot. I mean, he can be in several different positions and still make the throw.
Tom, I think I can count this year on one hand how many throws have not been about at the chest. I mean, going to your backhand, all your momentum's going away. You have Peralta, who is a shortstop, so he's got some decent speed and some wheels, but the arm strength to get fully torqued around there. That's the incredible thing, to get torqued and then throw with the strong arm.
It's another day at the office for that guy. His fielding percentage tops in the National League among shortstops.
Another Gold Glove.
So on the center field, Carlos Gonzalez drifting back. He'll put it away. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Jason Hamill. We head to the bottom of the fourth. 9-1 Rockies. Over the Tigers here as we start action in the bottom of the fourth inning. All season long, join us for Toyota Talk. Text your comments during the game and see what you and fellow Rockies fans have in their mind about their favorite team. Text Toyota followed by a space and then your comment to 720-720. You can follow everyone's comments live during the sixth inning and the entire Toyota postgame show. Standard message and data rates may apply. And Huey has a suggestion for Toyota Talk.
I would just like to know from our fans, obviously Detroit's in here, the White Sox are coming to Kent. Which team do you enjoy seeing in interleague play come to Coors Field? And it could be somebody that's already been here, some team that hasn't been here yet. Let us know your thoughts, what team you'd like to see.
Well, as we start at the bottom of the fourth, Ramon Santiago has come into play second base in place of Rayburn, and we have a new pitcher in Adam Wilk.
Well, I just don't think Jim Leland wanted his youngster to go out and take any more damage than what he'd already taken. He was trying to nullify some of the left-handed bats in the Rockies. This fourth appearance for him, 405 earned run average, 6 2/3 innings, 5 strikeouts so far. His contract was purchased out of AAA on the 26th, made his major league debut against Boston, allowing an unearned run on 2 hits while striking out 4 in 3+ innings.
Here's the 0-2 pitch to Helton. Outside for a ball. Don't walk away from your seat. There's still action going on in the field. So that guy's coming back. He timed it up a little better. He's got his snacks. He's good to go. It's the 1-2 pitch. Helton with a base hit to center field. His second hit of the night. Time now for our AT&T trivia question. How about this one? Who was the youngest player to win a batting title? Don't look it up. Don't Google it. Just think about it. We'll have the answer for you a little bit later in the ball game. Troy Tulowitzki, the only position player that doesn't have a hit for the Rockies in this ball game, though he's put a couple to deep left field. This one towards left center. That one's going to drop. Helton headed for third. Tulowitzki headed for second. They're waving Helton around. The relay throw will not be in time. Helton scores, and Tulowitzki has an RBI double. I should correct myself. Ty Wigginton, the only position player for the Rockies that doesn't have a hit tonight.
Yeah, that'll change here just a little bit. The pounding continues for the Detroit Tigers and Jimmy Leland. Not what he wanted to see here after taking the series from the Cleveland Indians. Pretty good pitch here by Wolk, down and low, and then he just drives it into left center field. The two outfielders are going to give chase on this baseball, but when it hits the wall, it ricochets around. They're just now to the ball, and Richie Dower says head to the house, Todd Helton. He does that ahead of the throw. Tulowitzki picks up an RBI and remains in scoring position without anybody, nobody out yet in the inning.
Smith hits it to center field. Jackson with the catch, and Tulowitzki will remain at second base. We'll bring up Ty Wigginton. Wigginton in the third. Scorched one past the third baseman Avila. They charged Avila with an error.
Well, Suites and Party Facility still available for individual game purchases for the remainder of the season. Pick up the phone, call the Rockies 303-312-2444.
Call now. Wigginton has scored twice in this ball game already. The 1-0 pitch. Fouled back. I'll show you that play back in the third inning. Wigginton with the grounder and Avila just couldn't get a glove on it, or enough glove on it. Seth Smith came home to score. That was part of a 3-run inning for the Rockies back in the third. They scored 6 in the second.
It got ugly. The ball between his legs, the relay throw.
Fouled down the right field line, and this one will make it into the seats. There's a Rockies hat that has the actual Rockies on it.
Well, they gave those away about 10 years ago. Now you got to buy them. They have a few of them. No, yeah, those are a little hard to make.
No, not if you're a good artist. If you have skills, you could make that. Don't give me furrowed brow. You could make that.
I know I couldn't.
Well, I know you couldn't. I'm not saying you could. I'm saying someone could. Wigginton. It's on the left. Bosch will make the catch. Tulowitzki retreats back to second base. Tulowitzki has driven in 15 runs in the month of June. The leader is Prince Fielder with 17 in the National League. Charlie Blackmon coming up to the song from the outfield off their Play Deep album. Did you ever have that one, George?
You know, they didn't have walk-up songs, Tom.
Not a walk-up song. I think you have the album.
I don't know when you started watching baseball. I'm a little older than you.
No, I'm still back on the band.
Are you?
I saw the outfield in concert. They opened for Night Ranger at Pine Knob near Detroit. Blackman with his 3rd hit of the game, a single. They're going to wave Tulowitzki around. There'll be no play at the plate, and the Rockies lead it 11-1.
Not too shabby, back-to-back 3-hit games for Charlie Blackman, and he's looking to add more.
They're swinging the bat so well, left on left, put a fastball out over the plate. Charlie not intimidated by the left-handed pitcher, and then taking advantage of mistakes. That ball belt high, right over the middle of the plate, and he drove it into right field for a base hit and scored. Tulowitzki from second base. Charlie now 5 RBIs on the season, short season that he's had here.
With 2 outs, he'll face Iannetta. And Jeff, as you look at the leadoff that Charlie Blackman takes, it looks odd from a fan's perspective because he's tilted towards second base. It's kind of an odd stance, the way he turns himself.
I really like the way he's got his right foot behind his left foot to open up. Maybe we can get a shot from the same angle. Bo down here with the camera along first base, with the way his right foot is behind his left foot, so that opens your hips up to get you a closer, better angle going to second.
Iannetta follows it back. I guess what seems unique about it is that his upper body seems to be leaning back towards first base.
Yeah, and that would be something that you'd like to change just a little bit, so your hips and your shoulders are in line together. What you're saying, Tom, is so it's more going towards second.
Right.
And then if you have to go back to first, and your whole body just shifts, and it's a step and a dive going back.
1-2 the count to Iannetta. Ball 2. So the count now even.
And it could be another thing that scores 11-1. So he's not going to be looking to steal a base right now. And he just wants to make sure with the left-hander that he's never seen before that he doesn't get picked off.
He can do whatever he wants. He's got 4 straight multi-hit games. He's batting .667 over that stretch. Iannetta, high fly ball to left field. Went back towards the warning track. Push underneath, puts it away for the final out of the inning. But the Rockies put another 2 runs on the board. They lead it by 10.
Tigers. Baseball started up in 1894 in Detroit. Look at the logos over the years. They were a charter franchise in the AL in 1901, and that logo on the cap has been around since 1924. Let's go back to Tom as we start the top of the 5th.
Tom, that was your first hat, wasn't it? Did you have a Lions hat? Did you have a Lions hat?
I don't know, a hat with an Old English D on it. It's been around forever. A newspaper in Detroit had referred to the Tigers in a headline as the Tigers. They weren't known as the Tigers at that time. They're just known as Detroit. And even though they weren't mentioned in the article, in the next year, in 1895, the manager at the time started referring to his team as the Tigers, and the name stuck. This is Ramon Santiago for the Tigers in the 5th, who came in as part of a double switch for Detroit. He's batting in the 9th spot. Grounder over to Nelson. That's one away. Well, let's answer our AT&T trivia question. Earlier we asked you who's the youngest player to win a batting title. And the answer is none other.
Jeff Houston.
No,
Yeah,
Jeff was a little too old for it. Al Kaline, though, in 1955.
I wasn't even born yet.
Not yet. Frazier was 20 years, 9 months, 6 days.
What year was
Hit
it?
340 with Detroit, 1955.
Yeah, I was around.
You'd have liked to have shaken it off, but there's Austin Jackson. 1 for 2, had a leadoff single for the Tigers, one of only 3 hits they've had on the evening.
I thought it was interesting. I just wanted to make this note for Jason Hamill. He threw 29 pitches in the first inning. Since then, he's averaged 9 per inning, entering here into the 5th inning. So really settled down. Tried to keep his pitch count down, work as deep as he can into this game. And he's getting a whole lot easier.
By the way, on L. Kaline, 1955, that was his only batting title, which is a little surprising. That's what I was telling Blackman. Don't raise the bar so high out of the gate.
I mean, hitting 400's not good.
Yeah. Just, making it look easy. Bat 395, string together 4 multi-hit games. I'm just a kid who grew up in Atlanta doing my thing. It's a fly ball to right field. Seth Smith with a beat on it, puts it away for the 2nd out of the inning. Time for the Home Depot doing more on defense, more saving, more doing. Carlos Gonzalez nailing Miguel Cabrera at the plate. At that point, it was a 6-1 ball game. It's the 6th outfield assist of the season for Carlos Gonzalez. Pitch outside to Brennan Bosch. Fly ball to left field. Blackman puts it away. We move to the bottom of the 5th. Rockies lead at 11-1. Neighborhood Toyota stores. Toyota moving forward. AT&T, the nation's fastest mobile broadband network. And by Jack in the Box right now. Get the new bourbon barbecue steak grilled sandwich at participating restaurants. Welcome back to Coors Field. Jason Hamill leading things off for the Rockies here in the bottom half of the 5th. In his last 8 starts, he's gone 0-5 with 3 no decisions, and in those games has only gotten 2.66 runs in run support on average. Tonight, a much better night as the Rockies have backed him up with 11 runs. Hamill scored back in the second inning. Count 1-2. And he strikes out looking. This replay brought to you by the Colorado Lottery. 2 people will become millionaires in the July 1st bonus millionaire raffle drawing. Buy your tickets today. Carlos Gonzalez in the 3rd inning with a double off the right field wall over the head of Maglio Ordonez. A couple runs come in. Part of a 3-run inning in the 3rd. The Rockies lead it, as I said, 11-1. Here is Carlos Gonzalez. I asked Carlos Gonzalez before the game if he followed Maglio Ordonez's career, and he said certainly. They're both from Venezuela. Maglio Ordonez grew up about 3 hours away from Carlos Gonzalez. And here's one ripped to the right center gap. This one headed towards the bullpen, and this one is gone. A solo home run for Carlos Gonzalez.
Well, I don't know who said that it would be hard to hit home runs and drive in runs in the leadoff spot, but it's been a pretty good place for Carlos Gonzalez. Average has jumped nearly 30 points since being moved there. His RBI total at 42 now, and his home run total at 10. Everybody in the park knew it when it left the bat.
Here's Chris Nelson, who hit a 3-run homer back in the second inning. Everybody's hitting tonight for the Rockies. They've put a dozen on the board.
And I can't wait to see Jimmy Leland tomorrow. We're sitting in the office talking, and Jeff, I told him, I said, well, the park's really changed. You know?
Yeah, he's going to go, yeah, right, Frazier.
The humidor, you know, it's all, the grass a little higher in the infield, you know, you keep the ball down, you get some of these soft out. I'm going to walk in there tomorrow, and he's going to go, 12 runs, huh? Really changed a lot. Thanks a lot. He's gone to drinking coffee early to stay awake in this one. This thing's gotten out of hand in a hurry. Jim Tracy's really liking what's going on with his offense. Got a little soft liner. Dumped out into Santiago at second base. He was second out of the inning.
Carlos Gonzalez hitting .486 in this homestand, a pair of homers. He's driven in 8 runs.
And that home run that he hit, that ball was up towards his letters. And we've seen him be able to get on top of balls, but then you can tell that Carlos's swing is back to what it was last year, just from that last home run swing where the ball was located.
I'll give you another shot at what Jeff's talking about. It's that high fastball out above the belt.
Full extension.
Well, you know, when hitters start hitting balls like that, whether it's Todd Helton or anybody else, the one thing they will say to you consistently, I'm seeing it really good.
And not thinking. Remember early on his swing, everything that is involved with. Now he's just going up there, throw it, I'll hit it.
Helton to right field. Ordonez back, puts it away. But once again, the Rockies score. They put 1 on the board in the 5th. They lead it by 11 as we head to the top of the 6th. you're seeing things correctly. Rockies with a 12-1 lead over the Tigers. They scored 6 in the second, 3 in the third, 2 in the fourth, and 1 in the fifth off a Carlos Gonzalez solo home run. Miguel Cabrera leading things off for Detroit. Tigers have just 3 hits on the night. Hamel falls behind him 2-0. There's one off Hamel over towards Tulowitzki. He'll make the throw for the out. Hamel signals immediately to the dugout, don't even come out here, I'm fine.
Let's take a look at it here. Yep, just kind of ricocheted off of the shin right to Tulowitzki, and then he's able to make that throw to first base to get Cabrera.
Just your 1-6-3.
Easy, right?
Easy for Troy.
That's why it's good to be skinny.
Here's Victor Martinez, who has a 7-game hitting streak going. Though he's 0 for 1 tonight, was walked intentionally back in the first. Over that stretch, batting .462.
One of the big offseason signs for the Tigers, 4-year deal this past winter.
Swing and a miss, strike 2.
That bunt by Blackmon was epic.
That was a great bunt down the third base line. Blackmon 3 for 3 tonight. And somebody'd like to see the Yankees and Red Sox on a regular basis for some East Coast exposure. There's one to left field. Blackmon giving chase, but this one will drop, and it's a base hit for Martinez. So he keeps his hitting streak alive. That'll bring up Maglio Ordonez, who has 1 of the 4 Tiger hits tonight. Singled back in the third, but that play ended with Carlos Gonzalez gunning down Miguel Cabrera at the plate. There's one to left field. Blackmon won't be able to get to this one either, and it's back-to-back base hits.
Yeah, kind of like a little replay action there on both those balls.
Yeah, neither one hit hard.
Ryan is going to come out and have a very brief discussion with Hamel.
Well, more or less just check the leg. Well, you know, where the ball hit him. Let's check, see what happens. Make sure you're all right. Make sure you do some things. But if somebody grew up with K-Line, Cash, so love to see the Tigers here. Sue from Longmont. You talked about Avila's dad being involved with the Detroit Tigers in an upper echelon division of management. In other words, one of the bosses.
Well, how about
consistency for Avila? I mean, this is something you got to look at. 289 left-handed, 309 versus right-handers, 303 at home, 305 out on the road, and 309 with runners in scoring position. That's what you're looking for. Consistency. He's showing it.
There's a ball, 2-0. Yeah, somebody likes just seeing the NL. The NL is more enjoyable just because you get to see the pitchers hit.
I think it's more strategy involved playing in the National League.
Sure.
American League, you just figure out when you take the pitcher out.
Now 3-0 the count now to Avila. And Hamel in danger of walking the bases loaded. The Blue Jays, they
were here a couple years ago.
Yeah, you see the Blue Jays more often than not. Rockies seem to get paired up with teams that don't have natural rivals too.
Well, think about this. The Rockies and the Brewers were the only 2 teams not to play interleague earlier this year.
Well, that's why they have to play each other twice. Went there for the series against the Brewers. They go back again for a 2-game set.
Well, he walks Avila on 4 straight pitches. And the base is loaded now for Johnny Peralta.
Justin Littleton just wants to see the Tigers over and over.
Why not? The Rockies have had a great deal of success against the Tigers, especially here at Coors Field. Martinez at third, Ordonez at second, Avila at first. And that one a ball.
He's just starting to rush a little bit now. Slow everything down.
And no, you don't get double tacos for 14 runs. Nice try, Eugene.
It's not a bad thought process.
I like where your head is. It's just not going to work out. There's a strike by Hamill. Evens the count at 1-1.
Well, dangerous hitter at the plate, particularly men in scoring position. 375 with the bases loaded. 400 with less than 2. Hard
Swing and a miss
slider
there by Peralta. Well, the Rockies have enjoyed playing against the Tigers. They're 7-2 all time against them at Coors Field. They look like they're on their way to going 8-2. The ERA for Detroit pitchers here, 7.20.
It's going to be a little worse than that after tonight.
Yeah. The first time these two met was back in 2003, and they actually saw each other twice. Here's one to deep left field. Blackman back to the warning track, and this one's gone. It's a grand slam for Johnny Peralta, who is now homered in back-to-back games.
Well, this is the big fly you wanted to try to avoid. I can tell you that right now. Hard slider down and away. Didn't look very good on it. This is a fastball that missed to the inner half of the plate and was driven deep into left field. Thought Charlie might have a shot at it right at the wall, but no, come up a little bit short. And as a result of that, you got a 12-5 ball game all of a sudden. Charlie's shoulder gets jammed into that pad, so maybe he would have had a chance. Maybe he could have climbed that and were more familiar with the wall out there.
And Hamill quickly gets ahead 0-2 on Wilk. And he strikes him out. That's the first out Hamill has gotten really since he got hit off the leg. There was an out on that play, but then he gave up a single to Martinez, a single to Ordonez, walked to Vila, and then gave up the grand slam to Peralta. There's Ramon Santiago. Grounder to Tulowitzki. Throw just in time. Tigers get 4 on a grand slam by Peralta. It's a 12-5 ball game. up 12-5. Right now, let's check in with Mark Stout, who's up in the Camarena Club. Mark.
Yep, guys, we got some special guests. This is Kellen Larson. And tell me who everybody else is.
I'm Kellen Larson. This is Kendall Young. Here we have Jack Wilson and Travis Smith.
These are the ballpark boys. They are traveling to every ballpark in the big leagues. What number is this for you, Coors Field?
This is our 4th stop. We've seen Angel Stadium, Dodger Stadium, and the Diamondbacks and Chase Field so far.
You guys all are high schoolers. A few graduated. How did this idea come about?
This idea has been in the works for a long, long time, you know. Since about 2nd grade, since we've all been best friends, we've been trying to figure out a way to kind of, as a send-off, as these guys are going off to college. And, you know, we kind of were thinking in our collective love for baseball, what could we do along those lines? And, you know, it came up, it just evolved from what if we could drive to every park and then see a game, and it became a reality.
I think we may have seen their van as a Root Sports fan, because these guys started in Seattle at Safeco, and they know Root Sports up in the Northwest. Now, where do you head to next?
Our next stop is in Minneapolis. Tomorrow night we see the Twins.
So after this game, you're taking off to Target Field?
Yeah, we have a long drive. We're going to have to drive through the night. So, unfortunately, we don't get those free tacos.
Yeah. Now, wait. Hey, Mark.
Go ahead. Yes, George.
Minneapolis? Do they know how far that is? It's 10 hours to Kansas City, 9 hours to Minneapolis. You got 19 hours.
They're doing 9 parks in 9 days, George. Is that not right?
That's right. Starting today, actually, we have 9 games in 9 days.
9 parks in 9 days. They know 14 hours.
Hey, Mark, after Minneapolis, where do they go?
Where's after Minneapolis? What's next after Target Field?
Do we go to Chicago? We have the Cubs. Chicago Cubs.
Oh, that's cheating. No, they're going to go across
and
town
then we
and
go
knock out
up
2.
to Milwaukee for the Brewers, back down to Chicago, get the rest of the Midwest teams.
All right.
Yeah.
Tell us about your van.
Our van. We love our van. It's a 99 Euro van. We bought it from a neighbor, and we got it wrapped for free. A company called Super Graphics is one of our sponsors. They wrapped it, and we're going to resell it, hopefully, at the end of this trip and not lose too much money.
And I think some money might go to the Edgar Martinez Foundation. Cool.
Hopefully, yeah. We are looking to raise about $5,000 for the Edgar Martinez Foundation.
All right, guys. Good luck. Cool thing to do. I'm sure you'll remember it the rest of your life. And for everybody here at Coors Field, they said that the home team has lost all the games thus far, but so far so good for the Rockies.
Pretty good, yeah. Hopefully they can
break
Mark.
Yeah.
Mark,
all right, guys.
let them know, Mark. It's 867 miles to Minneapolis from here, which is 21 truck stops, 32 Denny's, and 27 La Quintas if they get tired.
867 miles you have to get to Minneapolis, all right? And a lot of truck stops, a lot of places to eat. So stay awake.
Yeah, we'll do our best.
We'll do our best.
We'll do the best. Guys,
we hope they can stay awake.
Sure, Mom and Dad are real happy to hear that.
Yeah. Jeff, what do you think? Me, you, Frazier, Mark, jumping a van?
In, why not? I'll go across town.
Yeah.
Because we're back here for
tomorrow
tomorrow
night.
night.
With Frazier before I'd opt out.
Hey, as long as I have a lot of coffee and a straight highway, we're in good shape.
So Troy Tulowitzki and Seth Smith flying out to center field. Here's Ty Wigginton. Scored twice tonight. Pops this one up. Martinez won't have enough room. That one will hit the top of the dugout. There you go. The soft bounce. Got it. That's how you want it. A nice soft bounce.
The
pat on
best
the back
kind.
from Dad. Yeah.
That thumbs up.
And then some guy in a Cubs hat just sit here for, I don't know. I don't understand that. Cubs aren't playing today here.
Still waiting for next year.
Yeah.
And the year after.
Don't miss your last chance to see highlights from the 33rd annual Boulder race. Root Sports brings you a special 1-hour show that highlights the costumes to the professional races and the impressive Memorial Day celebration. Check that out tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock. You're at a Tigers-Rockies game.
Uh-huh.
I don't know why you. Is there a need to represent your team that's not here?
Well, just as long as you're a baseball fan, that's all I care about.
He's happy they beat the Yankees today, 3-1 at Wrigley. Here's the 1-2 pitch from Wilk. 2-2. To left field. This one will bounce off the wall. Wigginton headed for second base, and he is in with a double.
now everybody in the starting lineup has
every
a base
position player has a hit. The Rockies making it look easy offensively tonight. 13 hits, 12 runs. And here's coming a guy that leads the charge, Charlie Blackmon, 3 for 3 tonight. 3 singles, driven in a run, scored twice, put a beautiful bunt down the third baseline for one of the hits. Swing and a miss there by Blackmon. 1-1 the count. The Rockies have scored in every inning but the first so far. That man has certainly got to be happy with the way his offense is played.
Well, you know, the club doesn't hit for about a month. I mean, Carney Langsford's panicking a little bit. Everybody's wanting to know what's going on, you know, with the team and all that stuff. And then all of a sudden they start hitting and, you know, everybody quits talking. It's amazing how that works in a circle, huh, Jeff?
It is. You had an off day yesterday. You pounded out 12 hits, or 13 hits, excuse me, on Wednesday. Playing a new club. How's it all going to come together? Well, another 13 hits so far tonight. Maybe 14.
This one to shallow right field. Ordonez coming on. Can't get there. It's another hit for Blackmon. Wigginton scores. And it's 13-5 Rockies.
You know what? And Charlie's probably going, I'll take all of these. The blue pitch doesn't bother me one bit. But he knows eventually it's all going to even out. There's going to be some line drives caught into left center, some diving catches through his career that he might not be so fortunate. Ty Wigginton comes in to score on this blooper to right field on a big swing. I think that froze Ordonez a little bit when he came in to give chase. Not there on time, and the ball gets by him and the run scores, and Charlie's sitting at first base.
He's just not running like he used to, though, George, with that ankle.
Yeah, I don't think that surprises you, plus 37 years old.
Now there you see Ordonez. Chris Iannett at the plate, 1 for 3, scored a run, drove in a run.
Hey, buy a Rockies baseball branded by C. Lazy U Ranch on Saturday. The proceeds benefit the Colorado Rockies Foundation. They'll be near the Kids Interactive area in right field, so make sure you stop by the C. Lazy U Ranch on Saturday and pick up your Rockies baseball.
This one popped up. Cabrera calling for it. And he makes the out, but not before the Rockies put another run on the board. It's 13-5. Texas look back, and the Rockies exploding offensively starting in the second inning. Seth Smith with a hit. Blackman's 4 for 4 on the day. Chris Iannetta with a single. He's driven in a run. Chris Nelson, a 3-run homer. The Rockies have 14 hits. They've scored 13 runs. They've scored in every inning but the first inning. 6 in the second, 3 in the third, 2 in the fourth, and 1 each in the fifth and sixth. If you like offense, you're in the right spot. Tom Helmer, George Frazier, and Jeff Houston with you, along with Mark Stout here at Coors Field. The start of interleague play for the Rockies, and it's been a great start. Austin Jackson leading things off for the Tigers here in the top half of the seventh inning. Tigers probably felt pretty good coming into this one, taking a series from Cleveland. There's one through the left side. Tulowitzki with the long throw, and he won't get it. So it's an infield single for Jackson.
Maybe anybody else, but Austin Jackson running down the line.
With his speed and as slow as the ball was going, it was a good combination for Jackson. Out-of-town scores are brought to you by Verizon 4G LTE. Rule the air on the most advanced 4G network in the world. As I've mentioned before, the Cubs beat the Yankees this afternoon at Wrigley Field. With Cleveland beating Pittsburgh and what's happening here, the Tigers will find themselves back in a tie in the AL Central. This is Brennan Bosch at the plate. 0 for 2 with a walk. The next pitch by Jason Hamill will be his 100th of the ball game, and he threw 30 in the first inning.
Matt Belisle's warming up in the Rockies bullpen.
There's a strike.
Well, Florida's fallen on hard times.
Yeah. The 1-1 pitch. Fly ball to center field. Carlos Gonzalez going back towards the warning track, and he makes the catch. Jackson had passed second base, has to go all the way back to first.
Getting reads off of the baseball. That's what I tell you what. Gonzalez does it as good as anybody in baseball. Gets all the way back, and then Jackson had rounded second, so he had to go back and retract his steps all the way back to first base. Gonzalez, nice catch in center field.
One away. Here's Miguel Cabrera. This one fair ball down the left field line. Jackson will head for third. Cabrera for second. Cabrera will have himself a stand-up double.
Let's look where Iannetta is setting and see where the pitch ended up. Not that bad. Pretty good location. Hard slider down and away. But Cabrera, with his strength, just shoots the ball by Wigginton down into the corner. When that ended up happening, it made it a little difficult then for a play to be made. But I think this is going to be a night for Jason Hamill. The skipper, Jim Tracy, out of the dugout. The right-hander is headed in, Matt Belisle.
Jason Hamill got off to a slow start, worked himself out of a bases-loaded jam in the first. Got plenty of run support behind him, and he'll leave this ball game with a 13-5 lead. Runners at second and third with 1 out. child's college invest savings account when they're young helps you to prepare financially for when that day arrives. It only takes 10 minutes to get started at collegeinvest.org. Hopefully they're planning for his college career. Right now he's enjoying some popcorn. We assume they're in college, but that's just an assumption.
Just because of the sorority emblems everywhere that all match?
That was my first indicator.
For Rush? Is it time for Rush now?
See, they realize they're on TV. I don't know. Is it, no, you're way past.
I thought it was.
You're too early for the Rush or way late for last year.
Just thought I'd throw it out. I was not into one of those. Were you?
No. They didn't have them where I went to school. Matt Belisle on the hill now for the Rockies.
Belisle's 32nd appearance on the season, 30-plus innings, 30 hits given up, 30 strikeouts. Still doesn't walk people. Tough spot here not to give up at least one because you have second and third. Say soft liner, you soft ground ball, the infield's back, so that makes it really easy if the ball gets up the middle. It does, and the run scores. It'll be charged to Hamel.
Jackson scores on the play, makes it a 13-6 ball game. Time now for the Coors Light freeze cam. And this is the play Tulowitzki made to get Peralta, where he's falling backwards and still throws it right on the money to Todd Helton for the out. Brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. This one fouled back. Maglio Ordonez scored back in the 6th inning off the grand slam by Johnny Peralta. A 1-1 pitch. This one fouled back. Time for today's CenturyLink high-speed pitch. The game started with Rick Porcello on the hill going up against Jason Hamel. I'll show you those numbers in just a moment. 1-2 the count to Ordonez. Did he go? They say he did. So Ordonez strikes out. We head to the bottom half of the 7th inning. Rockies up 13-6. the Rockies have played excellent baseball tonight. 14 hits, 13 runs. They lead the Tigers 13-6. And after the 7th inning stretch, everybody's set to go. Matt Belisle, who came in relief in the 7th inning, will stay in to hit. And he looks at a first pitch strike from Wilk.
All the relief pitchers got the hit today, man. That is so nice, because normally you don't at home.
Right.
You know, they'll let the guys that can swing the bat a little bit, and Belisle can swing it now. He can really swing the bat. So you get to go up and you get to take batting practice, but it's usually like Belisle and maybe one other guy. You know, in case they need a pinch hitter late in the game or keep them sharp in case of situations like this. But today everybody got to hit. Every relief pitcher got to hit. That was no fun for Victor Martinez. That was about a 35-foot changeup.
Looked like it got him right on the wrist, right above the thumb.
Hey, Skip, there's a reason you haven't caught me for 55 straight games, all right? I don't want any of this. Yeah, they got him flush on the wrist.
And that's why I just like to DH, Jim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He DH me, please. And you know what? When he comes in here and he understands this like a lot of American League teams do, your bullpens could get blown up. All kinds of things can happen to you. Players get hurt. You know, I mean, he's thinking, I got 3 games here. I just want to get through this thing. I put my best offensive team out there. I just don't need to have somebody getting hurt.
The 2-2 pitch.
Told you get hit.
Fly ball to right field. Ordonez giving chase back to the warning track. He's got just enough room for the catch. Belisle gave that one a ride. Time for today's CenturyLink high-speed pitch. Rick Porcello topping out at 92 on the radar gun. Jason Hamill hitting 95. So any concerns about his stiff lower back that he had after his last start? He erased those early on in this ball game.
I don't know who this is that just texted me, but they said, Mark Schlereth's in the stands. You think they'll let his kid in? I'll go ask.
You know, we all came out. He pitched at Highlands Ranch. We just thought we'd all come out and see him.
Well,
It'd be great. We have tickets for tonight.
You got to talk to him. You had some interesting stories about high school.
Yeah. And we'll see if he gets into the ball game tonight. Swing and a miss by Gonzalez. This replay brought to you by the Colorado Lottery. 2 people will become millionaires in the July 1st bonus millionaire raffle drawing. Buy your tickets today. Carlos Gonzalez with a solo home run in the 5th inning. His 10th home run of the season. He has driven in 4 runs tonight, running his RBI total to 42.
Tom, you ordered it. Dad called.
They texted you.
Yeah, let's go get him up.
Schlereth up in the bullpen, getting loose.
Arizona had a great career at Arizona, the #1 draft pick by the Diamondbacks, and he went over with Max Scherzer in a trade to the Diamondbacks last year.
His entire family is here tonight.
You think?
Yeah.
Did you take
his sister flew in from California. There's relatives in from Alaska. He said a lot of people.
From Alaska?
Yeah. There's the nice thing for him.
Doug, you know,
nobody
closer to Detroit, maybe?
Nobody asked for tickets. Nobody asked for tickets. Everybody just said they had tickets. Well, they were coming out to the game to see him.
That's the best kind.
Carlos Gonzalez strikes out. He said when he came here with Arizona, if he'd have given tickets to all the people that asked, it would have wiped out his paycheck.
Hey, Jeff, the worst one I ever heard was Sean Dunston going back to Brooklyn. He left 118.
Oh, my.
Oh, man.
118 tickets.
I've heard of 45.
Yeah, he left 118 in 1984 when he came up. Then when they told him he had to buy 100, the next day he left 3. I was laughing at him.
We're going to dwindle the crowd a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Fouled down the right field.
Catch it.
Get it, Huey. Get it. Oh, that was the weakest effort, Jeff. Lean forward.
I can't.
No, don't give me that. You're tethered, but you've got room to lean forward. That blonde girl behind you with the cap even had a shot at it. I know. Jeff, that is weak, my man.
Tommy, it was a railing. There were stairs.
I don't want to hear about railings and stairs.
Hey, Jeff.
Sell out. Make the play.
Jeff,
yes.
It's easy for a guy to pop off when he's 150 feet away, isn't it?
That's right.
I'll tell you, George, if one comes this way, I'm on it.
Are you?
Jeff, get up into the stance.
Are you going to smother it after it rolls by you?
Okay, watch again, Jeff. You give it the weakest look at that. I'm going to put that. Yeah. Oh, I really wanted it, but I also didn't want a broken hand.
But at least I didn't turn around.
Why are you looking
cower?
like I almost had it?
Because
you weren't even close.
It looks better that way.
Like you were going to get sympathy from the dugout.
Well, see, I'm tethered to this little box.
Oh, don't pull on it. We're going to lose you. Don't touch it. Yeah.
See, I've got this cord. I can't move. My microphone's cutting out now.
Jeff, you would have been on TV from coast to coast had you gone head over heels over the rail to try and go for that. Nelson strikes out. The 2-3 put out. That takes care of business in the 7th inning. For the first time since the first, the Rockies don't score a run. We go to the 8th inning. It's 13-6. Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by College Invest. Are you saving for college or just talking about it? The Colorado Lottery. Don't forget to play. King Soopers, more value for the way you live. And by Tri-State, providing affordable power while investing in innovation. It's a fly ball to left field. Avila with the first out of the inning.
Here's the deal. You get a giveaway, Tom, if you can guess the attendance tonight. You know what the giveaway is?
What's the giveaway?
Jeff Houston's going to work with you on pop-ups. All right, so guess it.
Or vice versa.
Yeah, right.
Will I work with you? I can at least teach him to fake it and make it look good. I got a lot of pass interference calls in college by trying.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
Keep it. Come on.
Yeah, see, he's loading up on you pretty good, Jeff.
I'm looking around at the seats a little bit. When can I make my guess?
Well, you have to guess, and if you get it right, you have to buy Jeff dinner, okay? So here's the deal.
What's getting it right? How close do I have to get?
Within one or two. All right?
Okay.
You got to guess between 41,593 and 41,595. Somewhere in between there. You win. You get to buy Jeff dinner. 594.
41,594. Okay. That's what I was going to guess.
You were?
Yeah.
Well, I figured it. I kind of thought that was probably
That's great. I get to buy Huey dinner. That's right. Awesome. There's Peralta behind 0-2.
I'm bringing my glove tomorrow, guys.
But it's your choice.
Don't try and sell it after the fact. It's just sad for all of us, Jeff. You could have at least given it a little extra effort. 12 years in the bigs, and that's what we get? Come on.
Good slider there. Really good slider.
Actually, I'm surprised you don't have the glove today.
Nope, tomorrow.
You're in a dangerous position down there.
Yeah, I can protect myself.
Ask Glenn Allen to give you his hard hat.
Here's the 0-2 pitch from Belisle.
Yeah, wanting to go elevated fastball. Belisle wants to go something else. Hard slider on a swing and a miss earlier. And you know what? I kind of like Belisle's thought process. Guy just looked bad on his hard slider. Let's go with it again versus wasting a fastball that when you pitch down in the zone, and then you ask yourself to throw it up in the zone, you can ask for trouble at times because you miss a lot.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. This one fouled on the right field line. Belial likes to wear the high socks, pants at the knees. Huey, were you high socks, or did you wear the pants down around the ankles?
Well, it depends on the era, because for a while you had to wear the stirrups.
Those don't even exist anymore,
well,
do they?
Aldo still wears them.
Oh, yeah, they do.
But remember, George, you used to have to show some
I wore
stirrups.
stirrups.
But then it got to the long pants.
3/4. Who was the first guy to wear long pants, Tom? Here's a base hit into left center field. See if they try to advance on the arm of Charlie Blackmon. They won't. Who was the first guy to wear long pants? I know Jeff knows the answer to this. I'm going to just test you a little
What do you mean? Who was the first guy to wear long pants in baseball?
Long baggy pants in baseball.
Long baggy pants in baseball?
Yeah. He was going to get fined $100 a day.
So that doesn't seem like a lot of money. So
it's 1,600. It's
right. So I was just trying to get by era.
With George Hendrick.
George Hendrick.
First one. He was a teammate of mine in St. Louis, and they came to him and said, hey, guess what, pal? You're going to get fined $100 a day. So he went to go get the check.
Andy Dirks into pinch hit. Here's one hit to center. That one a base hit. And the Tigers now have runners at first and second. Wells Fargo customers, get your 2-for-1 Rockies tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Not a customer? See a Wells Fargo banker today for details. Wells Fargo Bank, member FDIC. Jim Tracy on the horn. Bob Apodaca coming out to talk to Belial as he's given up back-to-back singles. Matt Pagnazzi out there in the bullpen. He's your new bullpen catcher, just called up, as we had told you earlier in the broadcast. Jose Morales broke his thumb on Wednesday, so he's on the DL. Pagnazzi called up.
Morales is going to have surgery on Monday where they insert a couple pins into that thumb.
Yeah, that's it. How about that? He caught 4 innings, had 2 base hits, and threw out a guy with a broken thumb.
That's and I called Pagnazzi a bullpen catcher. He's the backup catcher, but he's out in the bullpen right now.
Well, he's got to get used to these guys. You know, Tommy hasn't seen him since March. You know, and then when he went down to AAA.
Matt Reynolds out there getting loose. Bob Apodaca done with his conversation. There's Ramon Santiago. It's a strike from Belial. Runners in scoring position. The number's not good for Santiago. 2 for 23.
Well, it's really tough to be a bench guy in the American League. You're just not going to get a whole lot of playing time or pinch hit appearances where you feel comfortable at the plate.
There's one to center field. Carlos Gonzalez comes in, makes the catch, 2 away. Is your windshield damaged? Call Safe Flight Auto Glass at 303-287-5000 or go to safeflight.com. George, is yours damaged?
It's bad. Old Red needs some work on the back.
May need more than just a windshield?
Yeah, it needs help.
She's got a Rock Nation sign. Happy night at the ballpark for Rockies fans. Fouled back. Austin Jackson singled in the first and singled in the 7th and scored both times. 2 for 4 on the night. The Rockies overwhelmed the Tigers offensively in the 2nd inning, putting 6 on the board, and they haven't looked back. It's the 0-1 pitch. That one fouled back. Even though you know there's a net behind you, the fans back there still a little jumpy when a ball comes back there at 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, they're not used to it.
No.
Do you want to go to the game? Watch back here.
The guy in the blue shirt's trying to play it cool, but all of a sudden, oh, I just had a heart attack.
Honey, I had it the whole way.
Look at that. He goes, did you see Jeff Houston earlier? I would have been much better. I'd have had that one.
Okay.
All fans do that behind the screen, though. They put the hands back up like that one was. I could have caught that. I could have had a ball. Rafael Betancourt and Matt Reynolds up in the bullpen for the Rockies. Belisle trying to get the final out of this 8th inning. Tigers with a pair on and 2 out. Trying to right field. Smith hardly has to move to catch it. We head to the bottom of the 8th. It's a 13-6 ball game. Favor of the Rockies.
To 6 lead, excuse me, guys. Coming down to Jeff Houston, as everybody just saw, he missed a foul pop here. Jeff, I have a glove for you that you might be able to use here.
Nice.
In order to catch a foul.
The only thing is, I can't quite get my hand into this thing.
But it had to be a better effort. Tom and George saw it. No.
It gets further away the more he talks about it.
Hey, on a 1 to 9, I gave Huey like an 8.5.
Yeah?
I mean, absolutely. He kind of leaned and he thought better of it. And then he gives the
Yes.
Well, you know,
so
hey, if he goes over the rail, then he could be on the announcer's DL. And you can't do that.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Jeff, the young lady behind you, she wanted to come over the wall and get it. They're laughing at you, actually.
I know, they're mocking me. They're mocking me right now. Oh, I could have had it.
Come on, hit the pocket a little bit. Get right.
I would like to. I really enjoy this glove. I just, because it's a Rawlings model, that's what I use.
Jeff, is it stamped by L. Kaline?
No. It wasn't signed by him either.
Well, lefty's up now, so you might want to have that on in case the ground ball comes
it
this way. I got it.
Your hand's smaller.
Hey, play a little deke with him, Jeff. Say, I got it.
I got it. Back.
Well, a Colorado native now into the ball game for the Tigers, Daniel Schlereth, who played his high school ball just down the road at Highlands Ranch High School. Played 3 games in this ballpark in high school. In fact, hit a home run in one of the games. He talked about it with me before the game. Said, you know what, there was a metal bat. It was off the end of the bat. I go, what do you care? You were in high school. You homered at Coors Field.
Yeah, he's always had nasty slider. Yeah, that's one thing he's always possessed. Very good hard slider, and he's got a fastball that can range into the low to mid 90s.
He's another one of those Tommy John stories. Had Tommy John surgery in high school at the age of 17. Blew it out in his final high school game. Come back strong, and he's been great for the Tigers. Got into the ball game yesterday against Cleveland. Had a 1-2-3 inning. He's facing Todd Helton to start things off here in the bottom half of the 8th.
Helton 0 for 1 in his career against Daniel. Well, it's a pretty exciting day when you're able to come back to your home city, home state. You've been gone 4 years in college. You've been gone a little bit through summer baseball, but still to come back home. And you know, there's always people that doubt whether you're going to make it or not. There's all the doubters. And oh, he'll never make it. He doesn't do this. He's not tall enough. He doesn't throw hard enough. He's had surgery. He'll never do. And then when you do make it, it's kind of some self-gratification because those same people call you, right, Jeff, for tickets.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew you were going to be there the whole way.
We had algebra class together at Highlands Ranch. Nah, not ringing any bells.
Well, Jeff, they walk up to me and they say, hey, do you remember when I got a hit off you in Branson, Missouri? So I'm sure pitchers walk up to you and go, hey, you remember I struck you out? And
no, not really.
No, I don't. But it's great visiting with you.
Ooh, inside on Helton. 3-2 the count now. That's a nice road trip for Daniel Schlereth. He's chosen to not stay at the team hotel, but stayed last night with his folks down in Lone Tree. And he's got a house that he lives in here in the off season, but it had a broken pipe in the basement and has 8 feet of water in it right now. So
indoor swimming pool.
There you go. These major leaguers have everything.
With floating TVs.
Yeah. He said he can't bear to see the damage at the house, so he hasn't been down there.
I can't blame him for that.
And why it's getting straightened out. So that's a lot of water.
Plus, Mom will cook for you.
That's even better.
That's the best part about it. What would you like? Oh, pancakes. They'll fix it.
No, whatever you want.
It's a 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, and he strikes out Helton. Folks, visit your local Lowe's to cast your MLB All-Star ballot and enter to win a trip to the All-Star game. Compliments of Scott's. And I know it won't happen, but I'd love to see the guy that just struck out go to the All-Star game this year.
Oh, I would too. Yeah,
he's been so consistent this year.
A lot of great first basemen, Pujols, Howard. There's enough guys out there, but still there's room for Todd Helton.
This guy, I think, should make reservations for Phoenix. He's the leading vote getter at the shortstop position. High fly ball to center field. Jackson will make the catch, and there's 2 away.
And the Rockies will end up in Washington on the Sunday before the All-Star game. It's in Phoenix. They'll have to go cross country.
That's a flight worth making.
Oh, yeah. And Yolis Chassin's another guy. Gets a couple more wins before the All-Star break. Hit double digits.
I wonder if Bruce Bochy will do the Bob Brenly thing and take like half his team to the All-Star game after he won the World Championship.
But Bob, as you mentioned,
like
one of Chassin's strong performances was against the Giants, so it's obviously on Bruce Bochy's radar.
Well, you hope it is. And then the managers start calling the other managers, and then you also have the people within the league that are saying, hey, this guy's having a good year, this guy's having a good year. Clayton Mortensen's going to throw a little light work down in the bullpen. He might come on to pitch the ninth. They still did have, they don't anymore. Mortensen had pitched for a while. Be good to get an inning.
There's a strike to Seth Smith. Smith started off the game with a single and a triple. Scored a pair of runs. He's 2 for 4 on the night. And foul down the left field line. That one's going to make the seats. Let's take you back to the 3rd inning. Seth Smith at the plate. Pulls one down the right field line and just never quit running. Didn't even hesitate as he hit second base. Slides into third even though he didn't have to. It was a bad relay throw. In fact, they somewhat missed it. Smith in with a triple. The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, and he struck him out. So it's a 1-2-3 inning for Daniel Schlereth. We go to the 9th inning. Rockies on top. Unlimited reward seats and no blackout dates. And by Tri-State, providing affordable power while investing in innovation. Welcome back to Coors Field. It's been all Rockies. They lead the Tigers 13-6 in the first game of this 3-game interleague series. Right now, let's check in with Alana Rizzo, who has more on what's coming up on the Toyota postgame show. Alana.
All right, Tom, thanks very much. In it to win it. Jason Hamill looking for his first win since April 30th. He's in line for the win naturally. And then hit and run. The Rockies offense helping out Jason Hamill with an offensive explosion. And then, whoa, Nelson. Chris Nelson getting his first major league home run, and a big one it was. A 3-run shot. Of course, Mark Stout gets you into the clubhouse to hear about, hopefully, this victory, guys.
Hey, I want to hear Whoa Nelson.
Yeah, well, that was good.
Nelson.
I like that.
Thank you.
That was pretty. Do it one more time. Well, I want to hear it one more time.
Whoa, Nelson.
That's pretty good.
We're done with that. Okay.
Are you going to dance like Tom?
No.
Yes, you are.
I purposely wore a dress so I could not get up on this.
No, that won't.
desk. That's all
that shouldn't stop you.
That
shouldn't stop you.
That is Helmer's territory right here. Maybe Ringlesby, but not me.
Tom's dressed with Tom's dancing in a dress. Come on.
No more.
Okay. All right.
Alana, don't let Tracy get up there. It'll be the end of the day.
I won't tell him you said
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Alana.
All right.
Clayton Mortensen into the ballgame now for the Rockies to try and close things out. Rockies with a 13-6 lead.
Well, everything's been pretty good for him. I mean, think about this. He's going to be in AAA this year. He's kind of an insurance guy. All of a sudden, he comes up, makes some starts, actually pitches really, really well. 326 earned run average. And the reason fans have asked me walking around Denver, why not Greg Reynolds? Well, I think they wanted Reynolds to start, stretch himself out a little bit. Mortensen has pitched out of the bullpen 3 times this year and been very, very good and eaten up innings. His arm rebounds very well. In other words, he could pitch tonight an inning and come back tomorrow if you needed him to and pitch again. Those are all positives for a guy coming out of the bullpen.
He's facing Brendan Bosch to start things off here in the 9th. There's a fly ball to center field. Gonzalez drifting back. Catches it just short of the warning track, and there's one away. Today's Ecotech game summary brought to you by Ecotech Institute in Denver, where you can make the world your workplace. Detroit got on the board early, had bases loaded. Jason Hamill walked in a run, and then Colorado erupted in the second inning. They got a 3-run homer from Chris Nelson in that second, as they scored 6 runs. Got an RBI double by Gonzalez in the 3rd as part of a 3-run inning there. Troy Tulowitzki had an RBI double in the 4th, part of a 2-run inning there. Carlos Gonzalez solo homer in the 5th. And Charlie Blackmon, who's 4 for 4, drove in a run in the 6th. You see Carlos Gonzalez. Charlie Blackmon. All he's done since getting called up from AAA Colorado Springs is hit. He's batting .410 since his call up.
Where do you play? A little left, a little right, and hitter real good. He's played hitter unbelievably.
The 24-year-old Georgia Tech product has impressed. One past Wigington into left field, and that'll be a base hit for Cabrera. That's his 3rd hit of the ball game. That'll bring up Victor Martinez. 1 for 3, single to score to run back in the 6th. Was intentionally walked back in the 1st inning. Martinez playing catcher tonight, and we'll see how Jim Leland uses Avila and Martinez throughout this series. He's trying to keep both bats in the lineup. And Avila at 3rd base tonight.
It'll be interesting to see if he puts Avila back behind the plate tomorrow, or how Jim Leland plays it.
Well, I know he's going to try to look for another plan other than the one we watched tonight. 13 runs, 14 hits given up. But of course, you know what? It didn't have anything to do with their defense, though.
Right?
You know, I mean, well, unfortunately, the Rockies' offense just got after it.
Yeah.
One error did hurt a little bit.
Well, that did. Over 3rd base, got things started a little bit over 3rd, and then the cutoff relay was a little ugly.
And it was already a 6-1 ball game at that point. We know Chris Iannetta will be behind the plate tomorrow. Jim Tracy was asked when we might see Matt Pagnozzi. Possibility of seeing him Sunday.
That would be a tough draw for him, though, Tom, to face Justin Verlander.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome back to the big leagues, kid.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, here's your start against Verlander. Go get him.
Maybe Matt's unaware at this point after the call-up of who's pitching Sunday. And
you know what?
Let
me tell you what.
Surprised.
Whoever's pitching here, it really doesn't matter because he's really happy he's not facing the guy in Las Vegas or Colorado Springs.
Yeah.
I'll take Bob Gibson right now. I don't care. I'm back in the big leagues.
2-1 pitch. This one fouled down the right field line. Jeff Houston makes not even an effort to get out of his seat for that one. He knew it was too far
how
away.
How can he get that? It's like
teasing.
He would have got his uni dirty.
Tom's had a lot of fun with me tonight, okay? He's got a lot of fun with me tonight. Things going to change tomorrow.
I see a little fire in that.
I'm telling you.
You are going to see Jeff just all over the camera well tomorrow.
I got it.
What are the odds you wear sweatpants tomorrow?
Pretty good odds. Call our executive producer Kim Miller and ask him.
He's got on
he just texted me, Jeff, you're approved.
It's good.
If that gets you all over the camera well, that one in the dirt.
He sat down there in an $8,000 suit and you're wanting him to dive into cameras.
$8,000 suit. Those MLB pensions are something else.
Hey, that's a good pension.
You are a snappy dresser, Jeff.
Thank you.
We got the low camera on you there. We got the full.
Thank
look
you,
at
Charlie.
that.
My wife picked this tie out today. So.
Okay, well, there's nothing wrong with that.
She dresses.
Was that your Father's Day? That's when you're getting old, you know. They give you ties for Father's Day.
Yeah, I asked for ties. Hey, I like ties, please. More.
We televise 150 games. We need something in the rotation. Here's the 3-2 pitch to Martinez. Ground to the left side. Tulowitzki gets a glove on it. They can't get it to stick, and the Tigers have runners at first and second.
Well, it's going to be interesting to watch Verlander on Sunday because he has never pitched here. The one guy I think he'll go to, though, to ask a lot of questions, and guys should, is Brad Penny, who's on our starting rotation, and he beat the Rockies, I think, the second most wins by a pitcher with 15. He's 14-3 versus the Rockies in his career. Now, he pitched yesterday. That's why he's not pitching here today, or in this series. But Brad at 14-3. I think Randy Johnson has the most wins of any pitcher against the Rockies as a franchise.
There's Ordonez. Yeah, the Rockies miss Scherzer and Brad Penny this time around.
Scherzer's 9-2.
He's
that ain't good.
Yeah. Actually, I think Scherzer was on the hill yesterday. Gave up 2 runs in the first inning to Cleveland.
Was he up there yesterday?
Tigers came right back with 2 in the first, and then got back-to-back homers later in the game from Peralta and Rayburn to take a 4-2 lead, and then ended up with a 6-2 victory. Ordonez. Grounder right back to Mortensen. To second for 1, throw to first for the double play, and that'll do it. The Rockies bang out 14 hits, score 13 runs. Jason Hamill, for the first time since April, will pick up the victory and up his record to 4-6. Porcello will take the loss, dropping his record to 6-5. The Rockies are now 16-3 in their last 19 interleague games at Coors Field. Today's delivery of the game is brought to you by Jimmy John's, America's favorite sandwich delivery guys. How about the play of Charlie Blackmon? Singled and scored a run in the second, singled on a bunt, and then later scored in the third, singled and drove in a run in the fourth, and then singled and drove in a run in the sixth. Just your typical 4-for-4 day for your rookie. That's how things went tonight for the Rockies as they win the ball game and take the first game of this series. Stay tuned for the Toyota postgame show where you'll hear from Carlos Gonzalez. That's coming your way next.